Peter Drucker has a quote, "Culture will eat strategy for lunch." And I'm a firm believer in that. And organizational culture is critical to how well or how likely they are to succeed at a digital transformation initiative. The biggest challenge that I see is resistance to change. There are literally certain industries that are well known, and even within certain industries, there are certain groups or service areas or lines of business that are well known to be resistant to change. We've always done it this way, right? They can't foresee a future in which it's done differently. And this doesn't always have to do with the generational divide, right? You know, the boomers versus Gen X versus Gen Z. I've seen some Gen X people think like boomers, right? Because they were groomed and taught in a certain way. And so that is their approach to life, even, you know, as it relates to current technology. So that resistance to change, that you know, kind of, I would say fear and kind of unwillingness to try different things is a huge, huge, huge challenge. The way that I overcome it is you really have to be able to paint a vision. You have to be able to paint a picture of what that change looks like. Imagine your employees happier. Imagine your clients more satisfied. Imagine people being able to go home at the end of the day, right? You know, at the end of a 8 or 9 or 10 hour day, as opposed to a, you know, 14 or 16 or 18 hour day from that perspective. So that is the biggest thing that, you know, I kind of approach, is to show them this is what this technology-enabled outcome looks like for your organization. Along with that resistance to change is a willingness to change. And so the question really is, after they've seen the vision, right? It's one thing for you not to, you know, for an organization not to be, you know, ready or willing to change when they haven't seen the vision. But after they've seen the vision, you know, what is their appetite for that change? And I find that a lack of leadership buy-in is actually one of the biggest detractors. In a lot of cases, the staff, the employees are actually more willing to change. It's actually the leaders who are not willing to champion, who are not willing to kind of get behind it. And so that is really what I try to focus on. Paint that vision, help them kind of see what that change does for the organization. And last but not the least, you know, a big part of, you know, kind of my brand, you know, the Agile CIO, is iterative and incremental improvement, right? How do I rapidly introduce that change into the organization? Not too fast, but in a way where they're not waiting 5 years to see the outcomes of the thing that they're investing in. So that's probably the biggest thing for me, is really just painting that vision, helping them see it, and then helping them start to see pieces of that vision manifested sooner rather than later.